Here's a look at your gap and go trades for the week of April 22nd through the 26th. I will also give a gap recap for the week of April 15th through the 19th. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. I hope you had a great weekend. The first ticker I'm going to go over is NEO. We ended the week at $3.80, down 5%. This is where we ended. To the north side takes us to the middle of the trend and the baseline. 391. This is also resistance and a take profit area. Above that, at 2 standard deviations, $4.07, 415, 423. Below that, at support, 376, 368, and 360. Taking a look at the gap recap for this previous week, we have a gap that opened up that will be carried on into this upcoming week. It starts at 391, closes out at 399 within -2 and 2 standard deviations, so I think we can get there. And this gap to the downside, just a little baby one, that opened and closed this week at 382, no longer a threat to the south side. And this one touched right here, opened up on Tuesday. Was that Tuesday? Yeah. Make this a little bit wider so I can see just, oh, look at that. I'll turn on my magnet. So that was off just a little bit. So we gapped down, so I anticipate a gap up, and it filled right here, as I mentioned. And that started on Tuesday. So this is done. This actually took us to 388, not 386. Cleaning up the chart here. And that is a look at NEO. I'll try to make this video shorter than my previous videos. So the next one is Sofi. We ended the week at $7.11, down 0.28%. To the north side takes us to resistance. From where we are down here, this is resistance, as well as this spot, and this spot, and your potential take profit areas. So the baseline, 718, 731, 737, and 744. To the south side, 705, 698, and 692. And as far as the gap recap, there's nothing really to talk about for the gaps. This was a tiny one that closed as well, so that closed out at 712. And this is the gap that I'll be tracking to the upside, closing out at 763. And there are many other gaps to the upside. We are not close, not in the channel, not in the zone, just something to be aware of. But right now, the channel is not going down severely. It's correcting itself and going sideways, as you can see here. And then what will happen, hopefully, fingers crossed, is if we start to go slightly up, then we'll see a reversal on the 5-minute time frame. The RSI is also turning up, so that's good. So we will definitely hit this middle point on Monday. Rivn, 863 is where we ended for the week, down 2.27%. Back to the middle of the trend, 877, resistance, at least one level of it, 899, 910, 921, 855, 844, and 833. This gap opened up and closed last week. And the last time I looked at this, price was at 913, down to support, a bounce up to resistance, grinding along the middle of the trend, up to resistance again, a sell-off here, back down, you can see, and on our way back up. And the cycle repeats itself. We are still going down on Rivn, but not as severely as in the past. This is the gap I'm tracking to the upside, taking us to roughly 955. Many other gaps to the upside, but we are not in the channel, not in the zone, but you can just mark that out for yourself. Something to look forward to. The next one is Tsly. Option R to reset your graph there, your chart. We ended the week at 1334, down 1.98%. Oops. We are basically at the middle of the trend. Resistance takes us to 1365 and a potential take profit area. The next one, 1377, 1390, 1312, 1299, and 1286. We are going in a downward channel, as you can see. Grinding along the baseline. For your gap recap from the previous week, this is a gap to the down. Oh, wait. It was a gap to the downside, but it closed out. Basically, I just take it and I mark it for the following week, and then I clean up my chart. So it hit right here. No longer a threat to the downside. Of course, there are many other threats. This is not one of them anymore. And this gap opened up. We went down. I anticipate a gap up when it fills. When and if it fills, just extend that out. And this gap opened up as well, taking us to 1405 and 1457. Now, obviously, when I've talked about support and resistance in the past and levels, when I give you these levels, there are many other levels within -2 and 2 standard deviations. Turn on your Bollinger Bands, mark out your trend lines, your Fibonacci retracements, the gaps that I like to do, the gap plays, and because that acts as support and resistance as well. So many things you can use to get different levels, and even the grid here, people like to play that as well. So, but I'm just giving you generic prices within -2 and 2 standard deviations and the outliers at 3 and 4. The next one, Pfizer. Okay, this looks like a mess. We are at resistance. And you know what happens at resistance? People take their profits and they run, they lock in and they leave. I'm going to anticipate maybe just going a little higher and then retracing back down because we are overextended here. And well, I shouldn't say we're overextended because we're not quite there, but getting there at 63. But look, overextended crash, overextended crash. And I expect the same when we hit this level and to fall back down and eventually make our way down to the oversold area for another bounce back up, and the cycle repeats itself. But hopefully, overall, we're going up. All right. At 2 standard deviations here, 2624 is 3, and at 4, 2646. Back at the middle of the trend and the baseline, and from where we are, this is support and a potential buy-in area, 2556, 2510, 2488, and 2466. for the gaps looking left, now I extended this one out, but really I missed the mark here. It actually touched at this level, so I should have erased that. So this has filled to the south side. Delete, delete here. So we gapped up, so that means I anticipate a gap down to fill, and we did that here. So I should have cleaned that up previously, and I didn't catch that. So that's done, but this gap, we gapped down. So I anticipate a gap up on the way back up should we reverse. And that will be at roughly 2671. I will mark that out. Or 2670, close enough. The next one, Intel. Option R to reset. I mark out previous support and resistance lines for myself. That's -2, the middle of the trend, and 2. So we're back at the middle of the trend here. And that's one way you can set your levels. All right, the middle of the trend takes us to 34.33, 34.67, 84-ish, and 35.01-ish, 33.99, 33.83, and 33.66 approximate values. Note the bounce at support, 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 support. Sell off at resistance, 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 here and here as well. And we are going down on Intel, unfortunately, bleeding out here, which means it could be an opportunity for you if you want to get in or dollar cost average, or possibly just wait to see if we hold steady at a certain price level. Go back and look at some other gaps to the downside as well. But looking left, this gap I am tracking that will take us to 37.60, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. We've got many, 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 many trades to go, but right now, looking ugly. All right, SLB, we ended the week at 49.85, down 2.14%. 50.16 at the middle of the trend, 50.98, 51.39, and 51.80. 49.32, 48.93, and 48.50. Note the bounce here at support, this wick, this scary wick to the south side, and it got bought all the way back up. All right, looking at your gap recap. So this gap closed out, as you can see, and this one extended from the previous week, and it touched right here. So no longer a threat to the south side, but there are other threats, clearly. Okay, that's done. When I looked at price the last time, we were at $52, and look at where we are now, $49.85. Bounce here, bounce there, as I mentioned, sell off here, here, and here. All right, that's a look at that gap. And then, obviously, this gap to the upside that I'm still tracking, that we have not closed out yet. All right, the next one is BABA. Again, I'm going to try to go quickly here, speed things up so you don't get bored, so I don't lose you here. 69.07, up 0.28%. Resistance at 2 standard deviations, 69.20, 69.47, 69.75. The base, 68.66, 68.11, 67.85, 67.59. Note the bounce at support, support, or I should say clear lines, easy lines to read. And resistance here, and here, close enough as well. Now, for your gap recap, this gap opened up, taking us to 70.63. And this other gap up here, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. We were going up for a while, and now we're back down. Let me just show you this on the 1 hour. Look at all the weeks I've tracked this nasty little thing, huh? But there have been pops to the upside, but obviously those pops get, basically people get out of those areas. Those are the areas to sell anytime you hit that resistance area, and then you buy back in at support. But look at that. Nasty, nasty on the hours. So always take a look at this in the bigger picture. On the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. This is not what I'm doing here. I give you price action on the 5-minute, and if you flip it to the other time frames, especially the monthly, that's where I do my investing. So when stocks bleed out, but they're good quality companies, that's when I buy in. That is it for Baba. Nike is the next one. We are at 94.53. We are at one level of support. 94.62. 95.02. Now on the way up, this turns into resistance. I know it's an odd concept when you're looking at this, but on the way up, it turns into resistance if you are new to trading. And again, the next level, the baseline after that, 95.85, 96.69, 97.10, and 97.52. Looking left for your gap recap. Let's start up, oops. Well, no, let's start at the red line, the red box here. 89.20 is where it will close out. We are not in the channel, fortunately. I like to go long, not short. I don't like to short anything, but I know that you guys do, so that's the potential to go south, but we are not in that channel, not in the zone. We are going up. So this gap that I previously have tracked, well, as the week progressed, so it opened up basically right away on Monday, and it closed out on Tuesday. So no longer a threat. That took us down to 91.99. This is support on the chart, and boom, what happened? It went down a little bit more, went sideways, went down, and then back up again to resistance. Here, 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 and here. Grinding along the lines and selling off. As people take their profits and they run, they lock in and they leave. Now this gap, we tickled this gap here. Not even close to closing it. I've tracked this one for a very long time. Closes out at $100.78. Fingers crossed we get there, but that's something to look forward to. We are not in this upper channel, not in that zone, not even close. If you play wherever you happen to be at -2 and 2, you're good. But obviously that changes minute by minute. That is a moving target. So the price targets I give you will move. The next one, Tesla. I saw a Cybertruck in the wild today, and it was black, like a super dark charcoal. Well, that charcoal isn't really black, but just a beautiful black color. But I saw the side profile. This is my second time seeing one in the wild. The other one was steel gray, and I love the front of the profile, but when I look at it on the side profile, that back trunk part of it is just ugly to me. So I do have a vehicle reserved, and I don't think I can pull the trigger. Yeah, my sister does too, but I was looking forward to that or to the AAPLE car, and that fell apart on me too. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Not that I need a new car or anything like that, but maybe I'll change my mind. All right, 147.05 for Tesla. To the north side, 150.23, 151.78, 153.18, 144.15, 142.65, and 141.20. Okay, for your gap recap. So this gap closed out right at the beginning of the week on Monday, taking us down to 165.32. This gap opened up. We gap down. I anticipate a gap up when it fills. Right now, not even close. And this gap here as well, up to 155.27, not in the channel, not in the zone. We are grinding along the middle of the trend where all price goes through to the upside or to the south side. You have to get through that middle of the trend to go up or to go down. So that's a nice area. If you're playing conservatively, sometimes like I like to, and get down, buy down here, here, or there, and then you could just ride it up to the middle of the trend, get off the gravy train, and wait for it to get back down again. And sometimes it may not, or it could take a very long time, or a lickety split. Reverse. All right, that's Tesla and Apple. We ended the week at 165, down 1.22. I feel like we're bleeding out here, but I do have gaps that take me down, I believe, to the 145 range in the big picture. Let's just look at this on the monthly. I know I said I'd be quick, but oh, this is a hot mess. No, I have to clean this up for you, and the linear doesn't allow the TradingView changed how it appears, and I can't stand it. But let me see if I can show it to you on the hour. The hourly. No, it's not marked out. But anyway, just beware of the gaps to the south side, which could be opportunities for you if you're trying to get in. Just wait till it gets lower. But again, it could take a long time. But now let's give you, wait, did I give you the price targets? I've lost track now. I got sidetracked. But just in case, here we go. 166.02, 166.68, and 167.30, 163.51, 162.85, and 162.20. Looking at the gaps for your gap recap. This one is still, no, wait. Oh, no, it touched. So done. Closed to downside at 164.19, which I have been tracking since, oh my goodness. Yeah, forget it. I can't go back there. It's too far back on this time frame. Okay, we're done. Yay, no longer a threat to our account. There are other threats, obviously, including this one, nasty, to 164.45. If we continue our path, this could touch on the 22nd if we continue to go down. Well, no. At -2 standard deviations, that would be the 23rd. Tuesday. Yeah, sorry, the 23rd. Okay. I got to stop digressing here. So note the bounce off support and off of the gap closure. Now this gap to the upside, should we reverse, takes us to 166.78, and many other gaps to be aware of, but I don't know where that is. But the 1 year price target is, I think, in the 200s. 197.99. I think it got lowered from the last time I checked it. It changes. All right, Boeing. This one's a big disappointment. But look at this. Yay. We are starting to go up. Well, we're starting to go up because we've bled out so hard. but there's a little silver lining here. All right, 169.82, down 0.24%. To the north side, the baseline, 171.14, 172.44, 173.11, 173.71, 169.16, 168.56 for your gap recap for this past week. Nothing. Yeah, we've closed. Everything closed. Nothing, I mean, I should say nothing opened up. It was tight, so I like that. That means we don't have anything to look to the downside, pulling us to the downside with these gap closures, or to the upside, unfortunately. But we just play the window of -2 and 2. So that's okay as well. But the gap to the upside, when and should we reverse, takes us up to 189.49. We are so many trades away from that. Don't even hold your breath on that one. But slowly we will get there. Fingers crossed. Next one, VTI. $245.23 is where we ended. 245.67, 246.97, 247.68, and 248.28. 244.37, 243.72, and 243.05. Note the bounce at support, 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 sell off. Anytime we hit a clear sell off, anytime we hit the red line at resistance. No gaps to report from last week, but this gap extends for us and continues, closes out at 256.75. Wouldn't that be nice to get up there quickly? But we're not there, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. All right, that does it for me. That is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of the 22nd through the 26th, combined with your gap recap for April 15th through the 19th. I hope you have a fantastic trading week. I'm going to be super busy this week, and hopefully I will, however, create a few more videos for you at the end of the week. And have a great trading day.